Anyone can be a millionaire, but if you want to become a billionaire, you need an astrologer. You know who said that? J.P. Morgan. It is not only J.P. Morgan, but a lot of people in the past, they have used astrologers in order for price predictions, or at least not for shorter term time frame, right? Like astrology is less predicting what is happening today or tomorrow, but it's more predicting in a macro scale what is happening with the markets, where is money flowing, right? So JP Morgan was actually quite famous, and he was not secret. It was not a secret. He didn't hide it. He just actually said in a news article, like, if you want to become a billionaire, you need an astrologer. Everyone can become a millionaire, but if you want to become a billionaire, that was back in that time, guys. Back in the time where actually money had way higher value than it has right now. So I think we can actually say right now, we can rephrase this in anyone can become a billionaire, which already is quite difficult, but to become a trillionaire, you need an astrologer. You gotta know on what level JP Morgan was playing back then. That guy was owning the world, right? He's really at the top of wealth if you measure it in terms of wealth. So it's quite crazy that this sentence, this phrase that you need an astrology, comes from such a wealthy person. Take that in mind. In today's video, guys, we are going to talk about the Sunspot Cycle and how the Sunspot Cycle might have an impact on Bitcoin, but also the regular financial markets. First of all, guys, what is the sun? The sun is the birth of all life. The sun will make everything come alive, and if the sun is shining in your city, you know it when you live in a four-season country, the days are more beautiful. You are waking up more happy, you are waking up more energetic. Without sun, there are no plants. Without sun, there are no flowers. Without sun, there is no food. There were even a lot of cultures back in the days who worshipped the sun, like the Mayas, the ancient Egyptians. They all had a high respect, a deep, intense respect for the sun, because the sun is the one that gives birth to all life. The sun is the planet, or actually star, that is in the center of our solar system. Without sun, there is no life on Earth. We are all depending on the sun. But might there be more to the sun than only its radiance to Earth that brings life? Might the sun have maybe an even bigger influence on our state of minds, on our moods? We are going to see that right now. So we have actually a cycle in the sun, and that is the Sunspot Cycle. So guys, it's actually quite crazy how the sun is the boss of our universe, or the boss of our solar system, right? We don't call it for nothing solar system. But the sun is a ball, a star, which is turning around its axis, right? But when it's turning around its axis, it's actually the top and the bottom, they turn at a different speed than the middle. This creates that the sun is actually quite a dynamic star. So the radiance of the sun is also quite dynamic in terms of the radiance that's coming to Earth. You ever heard about solar flares? Well, they can disturb electric magnetic fields. It can shut down the internet. It can shut down your phone call. It can shut down your TikTok videos when you are uploading it, right? So the sun has actually quite a crazy impact on the electric magnetic field of our planet. And this goes through a cycle. So we have the sun turning around its axis, but the top going in a different speed than the middle, and the bottom going in a different speed. But for this to make a complete cycle, it takes roughly 11.2 years, but it can take a little bit longer sometimes, can take a little bit shorter, but on average it takes 11.2 years. Somewhere as long as 17 years, and somewhere of course a little bit shorter. But what we have seen, and I've actually analyzed this, and you can find that over on the website on willporter.com, is that if you see a peak in the solar cycles or in the sunspot cycle, we actually see crazy events happening on Earth. So a peak, for example, when the solar cycle peaked, was at the peak of the dot-com bubble. Afterwards we popped. Another peak of the solar cycle was at 9/11. Exactly at 9/11, when we had that crazy event taking place in the United States, of course. We also have seen 3 Bitcoin tops exactly when we saw a peak in the solar cycle. So I think this is actually quite interesting Also, when we have a look at historical recessions and compare it to the Sunspot cycle, we can see that often when we see a recession, it goes along with a peak in the solar cycle. Although the chart below shows the period between 1926 till 2003, we can also see more recent market tops align with the solar cycle piece. Like I said before, Bitcoin tops also aligned with that. A funny thing is that the solar cycle piece also can be linked to the unemployment rate. This is claimed by Mikhail Gorbanev, and this is also published over on worldportal.com, but that's actually quite interesting as well. Then we can see that the last recessions in the regular financial markets all came along with either a peak or a low in the solar cycle. So or the exact top or the exact bottom. And I think the next Bitcoin top, the next top in the regular financial markets, we can also combine that or link that again with the peak in the solar cycles. And NASA made a prediction on the peak in the solar cycles, and they say most likely it will peak between, and listen to this guys, this is super interesting, it will peak between 2024 and 2025. And what have I been saying during this channel for the last months like a crazy maniac is that we have the 16-year cycle, we got the 4-year cycle, we got the 18.6-year cycle. They're all pointing towards the same thing, what we also can see back in the solar cycles. So starting from January 2024 going to January 2026, most likely we are going to see that peak very likely in the solar cycle, and I think that will come along with the peak in Bitcoin. So I'm going to track this cycle. If you want to track this cycle, make sure to subscribe to this channel, because this is information that we are going to talk about. This is very different than the regular analysts, because regular analysts mostly look at the price structure. We are really looking at these cycles, and I think there is so much more to it than what we can see with the eye. And I think I've really learned over the past couple of years that if we can remain centered but still have a view of this macro perspective, we can really outperform these markets, because you don't doubt anymore like, okay, Bitcoin might see a correction and going to surpass the lows. No, you can be quite confident. Why? We have so many cycles pointing to the same thing. This year is going to be bullish for Bitcoin. I'm sticking to that. I have that conviction. Why? Because I'm using all these cycles. For me, it's going to be very easy to take profits at the next Bitcoin top. Even though I don't catch the exact top, I won't be that guy losing 80% of its value in that 2-year recession that is coming up. But I'm telling you right now, most people will have a very hard time taking profits on Bitcoin, because every single one around you is going to be bullish. The whole energy, the electromagnetic field of the earth will be bullish. You will vibrate at a bullish frequency, right? And once that peak is going to set in, you won't be thinking of taking profits. You will be too greedy. Same as you was probably in 2021, like the majority of the markets. But if you can, in the midst of that bullish frequency, you can tell yourself, you can convince yourself like, hey, we've seen these cycles, I'm seeing this evidence, I know I feel extremely bullish, but I'm going to take profits because I know in the next coming years, Bitcoin will correct and I will do better during that recession, and right now I can prepare for it. That is the power of macro perspective, that is the power of astrology, that is the power of these cycles. It is very, very important, and if you don't resonate with this, we are equally good friends. But I see a lot of value in this, and I've been active in the markets for actually since 2016, so that's roughly 7 years. And my heart, my mind, my attention often goes to these cycles, and they keep on blowing my mind with evidence like the Shemitah cycle did when the stock market topped in 2021. I actually predicted that over this channel, that September 2021 the stock market will top, and you could know that Bitcoin is going to top as well, as they are correlated with the stock market, right? We already made that prediction in 2020. Did we listen to ourselves and went all out in Bitcoin? No. I'm not saying that I made all the best decisions and that I made 0 mistakes. Definitely not. I also drove with a big hodl back down that 80% correction. But I've learned from it, and I will do better next time, and I will make sure that I will bring as much people as possible, including you, all the subscribers from this channel, with me when we are going to prepare for the next recession, which will be roughly in 1 or 2 years. Okay guys, if you like this content, make sure to leave a thumbs up. If you are new, make sure to subscribe. Wish you all an awesome day today, and I hope to see every single one of you in the next video.